radio stream Friday, Buy Day Friday. We've got a lot of cool new things to talk about later today once I get home. But right now, is Behringer going bankrupt, or are they seeding the ultimate pot stirring, excitement brewing algorithm into the internet, which gets everybody talking again? I don't know. I know that Behringer as a company is absolutely one of the most genius marketing, has one of the most genius marketing departments of all time. Not only that, any publicity is good publicity. Now, what am I saying? Am I saying that this rumor might have been started by Behringer? No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying is last week we had a couple Behringer minis. We had the CZ1 mini drop. We had the UBXA mini drop. And where I come from, we call those hors d'oeuvres, okay? Or maybe we call them appetizers. But it's something that, in my opinion, starts to get going once we're about to ramp up the big boys, okay? And when you're about to ramp up for the big boys, it's nice to get people excited. Now, this all stemmed from an internet post from some guy, who knows, didn't even say. I think his name was Doug. And it was a potential conversation with his Sweetwater rep. And it was the Sweetwater rep telling him, yeah, Behringer has canceled the Pro 16. Now, do we believe this? I mean, it's up to you to decide if you believe that or not. But, you know, we like to kind of verify and check. And I personally think that no, they haven't canceled anything. So let's break it down. In order to do a pre-order, like I've called my Sweetwater rep, I'm sure just like you guys have sometimes. I've called my Sweetwater rep and said, hey, listen, man, if this product comes out, hit me up. Let me be first on the list. And they'll be like, okay. I've contacted my Sweetwater rep a bunch of times and been like, hey, dude, is this ready for pre-order? And the cat's like, nah, it's not ready for pre-order. It's not out yet. But when it comes out, I'll keep you posted. As far as I'm concerned, there's been absolutely zero. And I'm saying zero with a capital Z indication that the Pro 16 is up for pre-order, okay? Zero. Now, what might have happened? You might have had a guy after Nam go and say, baby, listen, Sweetwater, hook me up with that Pro 16 when it comes out. And the rep might have said, yeah, sure. But then you're going to come out and say that the VCS3 is canceled? Listen, the VCS3, if and when Behringer, we might as well drop the if. When Behringer finally releases the VCS3, it will be probably one of the most purchased synthesizer in world history. It will probably end up being the most coveted recreation of all time. And why? Because all the friggin' old school dudes are like, it's so hard to recreate the pin matrix. It's so hard to blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, but what you guys don't understand is Behringer has been giving out PhDs in vintage analog tech for the last, like, might as well say, let's go 5 years, all right? So they basically achieved PhD status in vintage tech. Not only in the synthesizer, they've recreated iconic pedals, okay? They're recreating synthesizers, let alone all the old outboard gear now that they're recreating, okay? Microphones. So I think for anybody out there who's super excited about the Pro 16, which is the Prophet 5 clone, with a ton of extra voices, 16 voices instead of 5, I mean, why would they ever not make that, you know? And then you got all the panicking saying it's because of tariffs and blah, 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 blah. Nah. I'd say a feather in the cap for Behringer is the Pro 16 and definitely the S3. But you know what? If by chance you were gonna buy a bigger keyboard and something like the JN80, which is the Juno clone, is coming, I mean, I wouldn't, if I was a company, I wouldn't want people being like, you know what, I'm gonna skip the JN80, I'm gonna skip the Juno clone because I'm gonna wait for that Prophet 16. And then, you know, you get, why not? I know this is kind of like just speculation, I don't know. But you could also be like, the Pro 16's not coming, seed it out there. And then everyone who was waiting for the Pro 16 will say, you know what? I'm just gonna go grab that. I'm gonna grab that Juno. I'm gonna grab that Juno synth because I was gonna get the Prophet, but it seems like the Prophet ain't gonna get made, so I'm gonna grab that Juno. I think that would be a pretty genius move. Everybody's speculating that, oh, the prices in China with the tariffs and all this crap is gonna, you know, Behringer's gonna go out of business, Behringer's gonna go this, go that, blah, blah. Listen, let me tell you something right now. If you think Behringer's gonna go out of business, you have no clue what's going on. If anything, Behringer's about to, Behringer for all the others out there, Uli gave an interview where, you know, he said he doesn't mind people saying Behringer with that big North American accent, with the hard G. So he said in an interview, he was like, we're about to go stratospheric, you know? We're about to go stratospheric. And I think the moment everybody's waiting for is once Behringer gets all the synthesizers that have been so coveted over the years that people have been wishing these companies would recreate, once Behringer gets that done, the most exciting moment in Behringer's history, the most exciting, most satisfying, it's going to be the most rewarding for a Behringer super fan, for the Behringer bros, is when Behringer drops that beautiful, insane, original series Behringer synths. Like, if you remember where they started started with the Deep Mind, and the Deep Mind was an original. A lot of people said it was a Juno clone. I mean, I don't think so. When I look at a Juno and I look at a Deep Mind, maybe they're twins, but they're not identical twins, you know. They could be like, you ever see twins that don't look like each other? That's the most that the Deep Mind and the Deep Mind and the Juno are twins. They're unidentical twins, whatever that's called. Paternal, fraternal, whatever one it is. They're definitely not Siamese. So I'm telling you right now, I would start getting super excited because November's right around the corner. Christmas is right around the corner. What do we like for Christmas? We like getting gifts. Okay? Some people like giving gifts more than they like getting them. Not me. I like getting gifts. So, and sometimes I like getting gifts so much that I'll get gifts for myself. Okay? I'll get gifts for myself, and then I'll put them under the tree, and instead of writing Santa Claus, I write Uli Behringer. Okay? That's how much I like getting gifts. Is that my missus will wake up in the morning, she'll look under the tree, and she'll be like, who is Uli? And I'll be like, don't worry, baby. It's a guy's name. It's not a girl's name. She's like, but who is he? I was like, he is one of the greatest human beings to have ever graced the face of the earth. Absolute legend. And he is now creating, has created, and will keep creating epic synthesizers at affordable prices, who the pro, the bro, the friggin' poor, the rich, everybody. I coined this term a long time ago. Synth Robin Hood. And if you don't think that's true, it is true. Uli Behringer is the Synth Robin Hood. And everybody can deny it, but I've said it for years now. All the haters are coming around. Do you know why they're coming around? There's two reasons why they're coming around. Number one, they're coming around because Behringer makes epic synthesizers, okay? I've said it numerous times. The amount of problems they have for the amount of synthesizers they sell is pretty much non-existent. You might get a broken knob here and there, but knobs are made to be broken, okay? Because if you ain't breaking a knob, you ain't freaking sweeping that filter hard enough, all right? So if you haven't broken a knob in your life, maybe this ain't for you. So the most you'll get maybe is a broken knob. You might get a little software issue with some firmware that they usually fix within minutes, you know? And then everything else is great. So if you're not excited about pre-Christmas, the amount, I'm telling you, what's coming now soon, the focus has been getting all the back end going, to getting the factory set up over in China, getting it powered by robots, getting all the distribution direct from factory sales set up. The idea is to get you these synthesizers for even cheaper than you can get them now. That's the idea. That's the goal. I mean, look at what you're picking up. You got a UBXA 16 voice Oberheim clone for under $1,500. Polyphonic aftertouch, okay? Absolute beast. And now you're gonna get a Jupiter that's gorgeous. A Jupiter clone is coming. Then you're getting a Juno clone. Then you're getting the VC S3. My God, you're getting the Poly 6 is coming. You got the DS80, which they changed to VS80. All right, for Vangelis. Okay, you're getting the CS80 remake, and then the one I know a lot of people are excited about is you're getting the DX1, aptly named the BX1 for now. And rumors are that the TR1000 from Roland, rumors are that they're making the Bro 1000, okay? The BR 1000. The rumors are is everybody might get a taste of that thing, because as complicated as people think it is, it's just an all-in-one, elegantly made, beautiful drum machine / sampler that has some analog 808 and 909 circuitry in there, most likely from Cool Audio, owned by Behringer. No proof of that, just a hunch, okay? A very good hunch. And usually when I get a hunch, it's right. You know, that's the thing. So all the haters out there being like, this is the end of Behringer. Oh my God, they canceled the Pro 16. And then you got them being like, they canceled the VC thing. You know, this is probably the Synth Mafia might have seeded this rumor. But this might be a double-double super truffle, okay? This might be some very genius, excitement-inducing. I mean, if I had my eyes on the Pro 16 and I read that Sweetwater has canceled pre-orders when there are no pre-orders for the Pro 16, there are no pre-orders for the VC S3, hasn't been pre-ordered because there is no way to pre-order it. The only way you can pre-order it is to friggin' write your rep and be like, hey, if you ever get wind this comes out, let me know. And the bro, it was probably Sequential that posted that thing. Because the dude in the thing was like, I was gonna buy the Pro 16, but I went and picked up a Prophet 5 instead. It's like, come on, that sounds right from Sequential's friggin' dark marketing department. You know what I mean? You got Sequential releasing the 4M for $1,000. The 4M may end up going down as the crappiest synth name in the history of synthesizer names. It is total trash. Now, I'm not saying the synth is trash. I think it sounds good, and I think for $1,000, if you can pick up a sequential, that's pretty awesome, actually. For $1,000, sounds good. But to go out there and call it the 4M and have people call it the forum, and forum really meaning like, I don't know, man, it sounds like some weird chat room. It's like Sequential releases a synthesizer named after a chat room. And everyone's like forum, 4M. It's not cool, it's not memorable. It doesn't like line up. Well, I guess they got Take 5, Trigon 6, Pro this, Pro that. But the forum, 4M, forum, that's a bad name. I mean, I feel like they phoned that in. Like, who came up with that name? If I was Focusrite, I would get down to the marketing department ASAP, and I'd be like, who authorized the name of this thing? Who said we're going to name this the forum, the 4M? I mean, I got to go look into it, but to name a synthesizer something that stupid, there's got to be a backstory or something. Like, what's the M stand for? Modulation? Like, I know it's 4-voice, but what does the forum? 4M? I don't understand what that mini? Does it mean mini? 4-voice mini? What's the M stand for? 4-voice mini, 4-voice modulation, 4-voice, whatever it stands for? I don't know yet, but I'm going to have to look that up after work, because to release your first ever basically sequential synthesizer, well, I shouldn't say first ever, I mean first for somebody like me who's only been in this racket for a few years, pretty much like 2 years basically is all I've been in the synthesizer world. So in 2 years, I haven't seen a synthesizer with such a poorly named synthesizer that is unmemorable in the name. It looks great, it looks cool, but the name absolutely stinks. What do you guys think? Just let me know in the chat. I think the name sucks. And then I know what the sequential fanboys are going to say. They're going to be like, who cares what it's named, man? It's a sequential synthesizer that sounds great. And I mean, they're giving it to you for affordable price. You can thank Uli for the price of the 4M, okay? You can thank Uli Behringer for the price of the Moog Messenger. You can thank Uli for the equalization and the reduction in synth prices to allow people to get a hold of these products, because Uli exposed the fact that to make these things doesn't cost what they've been portraying it to make. And I know what everyone says. They're like, oh, yeah, but like value is like in the eye of the beholder. If somebody wants to pay $5,000 for a monophonic one voice, that's their prerogative, man. Why do you gotta hate? I'm not hating. I'm just saying what I think, which is like apparently in this world now, if you say what you think, it's considered hating if it doesn't line up with what someone else thinks, which is so weird. But again, if I was Focusrite, I'd be down there in the marketing department of Sequential, and I would be down there being like, what is up with this name? We made a beautiful synthesizer. It's gorgeous looking. If you haven't seen it, take the Sequential forum and go look at it at the side view. The top view just looks like a Messenger, so it pretty much copied what the Messenger looks like. One of the old Sequentials too, looks like old. It's got an old vintage look to it, but the side angle with those that white kind of, what do you want to call it? That white triangle stripe that goes around the middle, that's pretty. You know, I might buy one of these used. If I can pick one up for $800, I might buy one. But as soon as I buy it, I'm scratching that name off and I'm naming it something else. I don't know what they could have named it, but they could have named it something cooler than 4M. Everybody says, I was talking to Paul from PWM the other night on the call-in show, and we were just chatting. He was like, I feel like they missed a huge opportunity to call it a Pro 4. I'm like, I know. Why would they have ventured away from the Pro 4? And the only thing I can think is they kind of want to reserve the Pro name for their expensive gear. They don't want to like be like, oh, we're selling a profit for $1,000, because in some wackadackle mindset, they feel like that'll lower the value of their expensive profits, like the Pro 16, or sorry, the Pro 5, the Pro 10. Those synthesizers are elite, you know, very expensive, and by naming the Forum a Pro 4, maybe they, in their weird wisdom, they think it would have devalued the, you know, the name of the Pro 5 and Pro 10. That's the only thing I can think of. But I'll go back and read this chat later. I can't see it now because I'm working, so I can make some money and go buy some synthesizers. But the only thing I can think of is, I think AI made the name. I don't know. I think these guys got lazy. I think they phoned it in. I think they got ChatGPT to come up with like 20 names, and they came up with the 4M, because no human or group of humans would sit around a table with an iconic company like Sequential, from one of the greatest legends of all time, Dave Smith. No group of dudes or chicks, probably dudes though, no group of dudes would sit around at a table hashing out names for their new huge release of an affordable sequential synthesizer and all agree on the 4M. There's no friggin' way. There has to be one dude there that would stand up and be like, listen, we're not calling this the 4M, the Forum. It's dumb. It makes no sense. It sounds stupid. It's immemorable. When you speak it, it doesn't have like any type of strength. It doesn't have any type of panache. It's got no type of style or flavor. It's just blah, Forum. And then when you say it fast, you say Forum. And Forum sounds like, when I hear Forum, you know what I think? I think boring. When I hear Forum, I think friggin' a work conference, okay? I think some dude in a suit in front of an old school PowerPoint, pretending like he's super smart, giving a friggin' speech about nonsense. That's what I think of when I hear Forum. And then we go for a buffet after. And then at night we go for a little mixer, okay? That's what I think of when I hear a Forum, 4M. So I got to go look into what this name actually means, because I could be wrong. Maybe I'm way off. Maybe this has like, maybe Dave Smith before he passed, in his will, he said, the only thing, my only wish is for when you make an affordable synthesizer, please call it the Forum, or I mean the 4M. That's the only way any group of dudes would agree on that stupid name for a massive sequential synthesizer. And to be honest with you, that stupid name probably probably made them sell way less of these, because it sounds dumb. It's incongruent with the company. It doesn't make sense. It should have been the Pro 4. At the minimum, it should have been the Pro 4. And at the maximum, they should have called it something super epic, you know? Like the Sequential Angelica, because it's got that that synth halo around both end cheeks, you know? I probably would never buy this thing because the name sucks so bad. I mean, I gotta be honest. I would probably never buy it just because that name is so stupid. Like, look at Moog. Moog gives you the Moog Messenger. They do a crazy marketing campaign with some super friggin' hieroglyphic style stuff. And everyone's super excited and they're like, Messenger, what could it mean? Is it because it can send out so many CV messages? Is it a message to all the other synth companies that Moog is now going to like duck into giving the damn hobbyists a chance to enjoy some Moog products? What's the message? And you had everybody talking and speculating. So as much as a Moog, I'm not a Moog hater. I kind of just do it more for a laugh, but I started getting annoyed with Moog when they put up that stupid Labyrinth. And because the glaze fest from the Synth Mafia was so out of control in the Labyrinth, it just left a sour taste in my mouth. And then the next week they came out with the Muse, and it was like you can't You can't glaze up the Labyrinth the same way you're glazing up the Muse, can you? Like when you have people saying that the Labyrinth was the greatest creation of Moog of all time, then the next week they come out with an 8-voice polysynth. I don't know. That's freaking funny to me. But yeah, beat a dead horse, but that's a huge fail if you ask me. Marketing fail, name fail, total fail, and I bet you it's going to be an absolute failure in, I bet you they're going to sell none. They're going to sell none of those. They might sell a couple, but they're not going to sell many, and it's because their marketing campaign sucked, and the Synth Mafia rollout didn't do it justice at all. You got no real cool videos of it. Maybe they're going to come, but I think they missed the boat. And the only thing it might do is convince somebody to get that instead of a Messenger for an extra $100 or $200 or what it is, $100, because it's a 4-voice polysynth. And again, I'm not saying it sounds bad. I think it's cool. I think it looks awesome. Sounds cool. Love the fact that it's like, you know, bougie budget is what we'll call it. It's still not budget, but it's bougie budget. And I think they missed a huge opportunity to do something cool, call it the Pro 4, but they call it the 4M, and that's dumb. So, for anyone who thinks Behringer's going bankrupt, and anybody who thinks that Behringer's not going to make these synthesizers and all that stuff, I'm just saying, buckle up, hold on to your hats, because November's coming, and we got Christmas, and I think we're in for a pleasant surprise. That's Synth Samurai Morning Radio Show. Slow, slow.